Welcome back to the Roll Tide Rewind in 2025. Alabama comes off of their second loss of the season to Oklahoma in a hard-fought game where Alabama probably outplayed Oklahoma, but turnovers, they changed the game. 3 turnovers to 0. It's all the main stat you probably need to know. But we're going to look into Ty Simpson film. Do we feel like Ty Simpson has regressed in the last 2 weeks? Has he regressed over the season? Was the Georgia game his peak? We're going to talk about that. But first, we're going to introduce Cole. Cole is joining us today from Fort Worth, not Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas.
Good call.
Yep. And it'll be us two
today.
Thomas,
how are you doing?
I am doing great. I am doing lovely. I worked 13 and a half hours today. I love my job, and I am back to do my hobby, Roll Tide Rewind. But I do love my job. But anyways, let's go into we're going to go into some Ty Simpson film. Cole, in the past few games, maybe even since the Georgia game, we've talked about this. What is your opinion on Ty since the Georgia game to now, or specifically the last 2 weeks, as we're about to dive into some film from the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, I think not to spoil the whole video, but I think it's hard to say he hasn't regressed. I mean, I think it's pretty clear. 3 of his 4 worst performances by both passer rating and QBR have come in the last 3 games. He's been struggling. I think part of that is teams getting more tape on him. He obviously came into the year. He didn't have much tape out there. Had he started a game? I don't even remember. I don't think he had, right?
Unless no. He
had come in a couple times, but
it was the South Florida game in 23 that Buckner started, but Ty came in and finished.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so very little tape out there on him. So I think teams are just understanding. And the other thing I wanted to point out is I think it's also due to the fact we talked about this last time we talked about Ty, and it's this schedule has been tough. LSU and Oklahoma especially are 2 of the better defense in the SEC, and I think we're up with them. But yeah, I think overall I think it's hard to say he hasn't regressed in the last few games at least.
Yeah, I also had the stat down, not counting the FSU game. His 3 lowest passer rating games are the last 3 games. QBR versus Oklahoma is the second lowest he's had of the season. He had 1 touchdown in each of the LSU-Oklahoma games, which are the lowest total in a game this season, and it happened 2 weeks in a row. We're going to go through some LSU film first. I felt like he wasn't necessarily bad against LSU. I just feel like he missed a lot of throws. There was a lot left on the table, a lot left on the plate. But we'll start with this first one. I think this throw here is a testament to Ty not trusting his offensive line, and he kind of rushes into making a throw. So we see that the rush, Ty has room here, but he bails quick, and by bailing quick, this defensive lineman who probably would have had to work more if Ty stayed in the pocket has a free rush at Ty. When Ty has Ryan Williams right here open, it's 2nd and 5. It's not 3rd and 5. But you also have 2 receivers here streaking to the end zone. Ty could have had more time to see if those throws were available, but instead he bails quick, has to get rid of it, and dunks it right down. Anything you want to add on that play, Cole?
Yeah, I think this is going to be a theme in a lot of these throws we see is him trying to bail out a little too quickly, and it's something we brought up a lot with Ty. I still think it's probably the weak point in his game right now and a lot of it I think is on the offensive line, which has not done its job effectively really all year. But I think he gets a little too antsy in the pocket. Think he gets a little too worried. He makes rush decisions. I think you saw that on the pick against Oklahoma. I know we're going to talk about that in a second, but I think you see it here as well. It was really bad against Florida State. I think when he gets pressured, when he gets hurried, I think he panics a little bit. And I think that's something that's going to have to get coached out of him if he wants to be a really successful player in the NFL. Which he has all the tools to do, but I think a lot of the problems we've seen in the last couple of weeks have been more mental than physical.
Yeah, I agree with that. And the funny thing with the NFL thing we talked about, he's currently the betting favorite to be the number 1 overall pick. And now I know we're looking at bad plays, so it's easy for us to look at these and go, yeah, he's not going to be a first-round pick. I think as of right now, he would be a first-round quarterback. It's just what I've seen the past 2 weeks kind of talk me out of Ty being the number 1, like a number 1 betting favorite. But I'm not an odds maker. So let's go to these next 2 throws. I remember watching these throws live and just being kind of not frustrated with Ty thinking he's like terrible or anything, but you had 2 deep balls here that are open. Loxier Brooks is open on this play for a touchdown if the throw is on the money, but the throw is get underthrown and probably should have been possibly pass interference, but the ball was underthrown. wouldn't have helped anyway. But then the next throw here is actually the very next play where Ty overthrew a touchdown. Or underthrew a touchdown. He overthrows a touchdown here to Jeremy Bernard. And the stat that I have here, I'll let a few of these clips play, but the stat I have here is Ty Simpson, before the Oklahoma game, was 2 of 14 on passes of 30 air yards. That is a 78.5 passer rating on passes 30-plus air yards. That is 107th in the country. In 2022-2023, when DeBoer and Ryan Grubb had Michael Penix as the quarterback, he attempted 94 passes of 30 air yards, which was 16 more than any quarterback in the country. He completed 42 of them for a passer rating whopping 269.5. So I think in an ideal award for DeBoer and Grubb, they'd be throwing it deep every play. But I just think with how these defenses are playing, where Ty is best at, which is those middle range throws, and then the offensive line not being trusted, I feel like those are all factors into this deep ball not being working. But some of these throws are there. Mm-hmm. It's just having to be the ability to get that throw. Would you say, Cole?
Yeah, I think on these two plays, we've kind of got, to me, it's fundamentally two different problems. I think the first one, I don't think Patrick Mahomes is getting that ball there. I think he just sees it too late. He sees lots here running open, but I think by the time he throws it, there's just about no way to get that ball there, I feel like. He's standing at his own 30 when he throws that. He gets it all the way to the 15, so that's a 65-yard throw in the air. Really gets it to the 10, so a 70-yard throw in the air. But it's just you're never going to be able to hit somebody in stride. So I think that's more of a processing issue. The second one I don't even have a huge problem with. I don't think it's a terrible throw. He hits Bernard. It's going to be a tough catch, but I don't think that's missed by a ton. And I feel like that's kind of been a theme with Ty. I think a lot of these deep balls have not been horrible. They haven't been gross to look at or anything. I think he's just missing by a little bit. So I think it's a little bit unlucky, to be honest with you. But I also think the other thing I wanted to mention on these deep balls is I think part of the problem is personnel. And I think it's due to Ryan Williams has not had a very good year this year. Generally, he's going to be more of your deep threat than Jeremy Bernard is. We see a lot of these throws every week. We're seeing them to just here. We're seeing them to Latsier. We're seeing them to Jeremy Bernard. Where has Ryan Williams been? And I think that's been a scary thing, honestly, for this offense because he's our most explosive offensive player. I love Jeremy Bernard as much as the next guy, but Ryan Williams is quicker and faster than Bernard is for sure. So in theory, that should be the guy that should be getting these targets on the deep balls. So why isn't he? And I think that's the question we have to ask. And there may not really be anybody outside of that program that really knows the answer, but it's a little bit, I think that's part of the reason that we've struggled on some of these.
Yeah, that's a good point about Ryan Williams. I hadn't really thought about that, but yeah, I've noticed he does focus on Bernard a lot more than he does Ryan Williams. And we'll get into the strip sack right here against LSU. So if people were keeping count at home, Ty Simpson has been strip sacked 5 games in a row, and we're a fumble, and the defense has recovered. 5 games in a row, he's been strip sacked. What do you think that has to do with, Cole? Is that a lot of pocket awareness? Is it we're running too many long designed routes that aren't benefiting our offensive line, or mix of both? What do you think the main issue is?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of factors. I think the pocket awareness is the biggest thing to me, and it's something we've mentioned. I don't want to beat it up too much, but I do think he still struggles. I think on this particular play, he moves right into probably the best pass rusher on LSU's team who's being blocked by a running back. That's generally not a recipe for success. But I do think a lot of it's on the offensive line. I don't think the offensive line's done a very good job this year. We've had a lot of moving pieces all across the line, as Alabama fans will know. But yeah, I think the other point you brought up is a good one. We run a lot of deep routes, even when it's not deep throws like we saw in the last 2 plays. It's deep in-breaking routes is maybe Ty's favorite throw, is what it seems like. The deep in-breaking route to Jeremy Bernard, those take a long time to develop, and kind of looks like that's what this play is right here as well. So it's just when you throw longer passes, you're going to get more sacks. You just hope that he has the awareness to hold on to the ball going forward.
Yeah. We'll see this throw here. Oh yeah, I put this throw in here to Horton. It seems like Ty and Horton have a miscommunication here, whereas Horton, whenever I see a receiver running downfield and they have to turn their body into like the opposite direction to make a catch, it's very rare for them to complete this catch. So whereas Horton thinks this ball is going to go over the top, it's like more back shoulder throw that Horton isn't prepared for. And it's more, I feel like this is a miscommunication between receivers or receiver and quarterback about what is more beneficial for his receiver. But I feel like with Horton is, a bigger guy. He's 6'4", 6'5". I feel like he just wants this ball over the top because he feels comfortable making this catch over a defender who looks like he's got like 3 or 4 inches on where he can make the play. I don't know what you feel about this play, Cole.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he thinks he can beat him over the top, but I don't necessarily think he's right. I think I agree with Ty on this. I think this should be a back shoulder throw. That guy's the defender in that play is well over the top of Horton pretty much the whole way. I think this has more success if he turns and maybe not even back shoulder, but kind of breaks it off towards the sideline. I think this could be a big play. But I think like you said, I think Horton, he's a very talented receiver. He's had a great year. I think he thinks he can beat that guy over the top. I'm just not sure he's right about that. I think this probably should have been a shorter throw towards the sideline like it was. So I put this more on Horton than Ty.
Okay. I believe this is the last LSU throw. Yeah, okay. I'm just making sure. I remember this one. The game is now gotten to a point where it's actually a 1-score game with 9 minutes left. 3rd and 9, LSU brings – how many guys is that? That's a 7-man blitz. So they're really bringing it on this play. And the offensive line does actually a pretty good job here considering it's a 7-man blitz and they're kind of all by themselves. And Ty makes the throw over the middle, and it's just off the fingertips. I feel like this has been a common theme in the past 2 weeks where throws are getting almost to the receiver and it's just hitting the top of their fingertips. It's too high, too outside. Ryan is close to making a catch here, but it is a hard ask, the angle that he's at to make this play. What do you think about this one, Cole?
Yeah, I don't have much to add on this one. I think, like you mentioned, I think it's just a slight miss. It's not a bad one. It's catchable, but you're not really putting your receiver in a great spot there. So, kind of similar to the Jeremy throw earlier is what it looks like to me.
Mm-hmm. We'll go to the Oklahoma game. Oklahoma game, like I said, Ty's second lowest QBR of the season. We get on this play. I noticed this play because watch Jam Miller here. This is 3rd and 7, first drive of the game. Watch Jam Miller's break right here. That's where you got to go. I feel like that was just I feel like Ty is wanting more on this play, but I don't know who. It doesn't look like Jam Miller is a first read on this play or whatever, but that throw gets made to Jam Miller. I have confidence that he would get to the 30. I don't know after I've seen how they've ran the ball this year, but if the throw's on the money here and it's a good throw with Jam on the run, I feel confident with Jam getting that yardage right there and getting enough for the first down. But Ty stays in the pocket for a little bit more, and he's going to step up and he's going to be sacked, I believe. I guess that would count as a sack. What do you have say on this one, Cole? Like, he's kind of not taking what the defense gives him, in my opinion, but what do you feel on this play?
Yeah, it's hard to tell because I don't – if I'm Ty, I don't think I'm making that throw to Jam either, and maybe that's just me overinflating what we saw from Jam on Saturday, which was not very good stuff. But I think it's hard for me to blame a quarterback for not throwing a ball 2 yards down the field on a 3rd and 7. So it's hard to see. We can't really tell what happens with the other routes. This may have just been a coverage sack. Honestly, it's kind of hard to tell. I don't know if anybody's open on this play, other than Jam underneath.
Yeah, we know giving the ball to Jam Miller this year is for sure 7 yards.
It's been hit or miss, mostly miss.
Yeah. Unfortunately. We'll go to the interception during the game. This throw, Ty is kind of fooled on this play. And you're going to see this interception is going to occur right here. There's the corner, there's the safety. But this is a play that's designed for Isaiah Horton. You're going to send the running back over to the trip side, leaving Horton on a slant route here. And you're hoping that Horton can break this slant route quick, get the ball, and go for a touchdown. But this safety is what causes the issue on this play. So Oklahoma brings the blitz, and it leaves this side kind of open for Horton. But Ty gets fooled quickly and ends up being a game-changing play. This was a pick six. Oklahoma won the game by 2 points, or was it 2 points? Yeah, it was 2 points. Won the game by 2 points, and that ended up being a game-changing play. One of the 3 turnovers of the game, Oklahoma had 0. I do see that a linebacker did come free, but this play, like I said, is going to Horton the whole way. I don't think that blitz is affecting Ty's throw, but Ty airmails Horton here. Like, it wasn't like the fact that this ball was just jumped. The ball was airmailed, and I feel like that was one of Ty's worst throws that he had of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. This is bad on everybody. I mean, I think Ty, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think this is going to Horton all the way. I think he sees the blitz coming pre-snap and just assumes he's going to have man coverage across the board. And so he assumes that Horton's going to beat his man inside. And then he kind of does, but even if he did, that throw's not getting completed in any world. He overthrows him by a lot. And then unfortunately the safety, the one guy that doesn't seem to be matched up in man coverage there, is able to easily run over, pick it, and return it for a touchdown. So I think it's another example of him getting a little too pass happy in the pocket, but it's also hard to blame him when the offensive line has such a bad miscommunication that they let a linebacker come directly up the middle. That's like the one thing you can't do as an offensive line. So I don't think this play covers really anybody on the Crimson Tide in glory. So.
Mm-hmm. And then we'll go to the next interception that is called back because the defender tackled Lockseer Brooks. But this throw I felt like was worse. Lockseer gets hit in the end zone, which thankfully he did, because even if he's not getting hit on this play, it's going to be intercepted because that safety eyes that ball the whole way. And it feels like Ty just never sees him, or just Ty assumes that he's going to go away. But this safety perfectly picks this like slant route by Lockseer and has it the whole way. But you see the safety here on this replay. This is the guy that picks the ball right here, number 3. But Lockseer, we're clearing out from Horton to get this middle of the field open for Lockseer. You're hoping that the safety kind of goes with Horton, and this is open for here. Bernard's kind of spacing it out over here, taking this guy away. But the play is going to be made right here is where Ty wants it. And this safety sees it all the way and looks, and that ball's already being thrown. And thankfully, like I said, Lockseer gets thrown to the side, because if he's not thrown to the side, this ball is intercepted. Like, nothing is changing this interception, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think this one's worse than the last one, because the last one, he kind of has to throw it within a half a second because he's got a linebacker coming right out the middle. He's got a pretty decent pocket here. I mean, it may not be perfect, but he's got plenty of time there. And I think it's like you said. I think he just didn't see the safety. And it could be the fact that we've got a red and white end zone and got a defender completely in white. I don't know, but this was baffling to me watching it back, because I don't know what you could have possibly seen here. That guy's picking that ball off 100% of the time. And we're like you said, we're very lucky there was a penalty that called it back. But I do think that's something that has kind of gone under discussed with Ty, is really how impressive it's been that he's only had 2 picks this year. And honestly, I don't want to say it's fluky necessarily, but I think he's had a lot of picks that have been taken away either by drops or penalties like this one. I think he could have a lot more. He has a bit of a gunslinger mentality at times, and a lot of times his arm's good enough that he gets away with it. But this is one I don't think any quarterback's fitting that ball in without it getting picked. So I really do think this might be he just did not see that guy at all.
Yeah, I agree. I know he's had a few drops. Like, I remember in the Georgia game, like even on the first drive, he threw one right to it may have been Ellis Robinson, and he just dropped it. Which, I mean, Ellis Robinson helped us out in that game a little bit, so I won't point fingers. We'll go to this one right here. I feel like he has a good pocket here, and this is just kind of similar to the other throws from the LSU game where the ball's just out of reach. And I feel like this is happening more often in the past few weeks, where Bernard is just so close to making these catches, but he's having to dive, and they're just, more uncomfortable to make. Now, like, if Jeremiah Smith is running this route, maybe it's a catch. But, like, not every receiver is as good as he is. You're just asking a lot out of Bernard to consistently make catches like this. But the ball, like, people are going to say, like, well, the ball hit him in the hands. Well, I mean, yeah, but if you're diving, 5 feet in the air to catch the ball, that's going to be a hard ask. So that's my opinion on the throws like this.
Yeah. One thing I want to point out is I think We've kind of mentioned, I think Ty is not playing as well the last few weeks as he was kind of in the middle of the season. But I think a lot of that is due to just the small misses. Like this is very close to being another really, really good throw. It kind of looks similar. It's not as big of a situation, but it kind of looks similar to me to the throw to Lotsier he makes on the other sideline late in the Missouri game. But he slightly misses this one, whereas he hits that one right on the hand. So I think a lot of these are just small misses. I'm not as concerned about these necessarily because I think they're almost a little bit fluky. I'm much more concerned about some of the struggles we've seen with him in the pocket, as well as kind of being a little overeager to make some throws that he may not be able to pull off.
Yeah. This next one is just the other strip sack of the video. Oklahoma gets a good blitz here, and brutal hit. And it's again, like if we look on the replay, a bit of this is the blitz that Oklahoma runs. They kind of overload one side, but this is just probably a coverage sack because also like Alabama has guys blocking, like enough guys blocking here. They have 6 guys blocking, but the routes the receivers are running, they're not open. If you look on this, I don't know who Ty is supposed to throw the ball to here. Unless you want to throw it over the middle here to Cuevas, that's a hard throw to make with that safety coming down. Yeah. Do you throw it deep there? Do you throw it there? Do you throw it there? There's one-on-one coverages, but by the time he's probably making that decision, he's already getting hit. And I think Daniel Hill does a good job there, but it looks like it's Carroll that gets beat here. Yeah, he just gets beat right off the ball, and then it's a fumble. So I think this is a lot of factors here. I'm not necessarily saying this is all Ty's fault. Just with 5 strip sacks in 5 games, you have to start asking questions.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just the other strip sack. We'll go to the last. I think there's 3 more throws here. This throw right here is, I think, the biggest miss of the game from Ty. Ty gets sacked. There's a minute 42 left. It's 2nd and 21. You get a good pocket here. He steps up, and you can make up for that sack. Look, he's wide open. Isaiah Horton is wide open and just skips it to him. I don't know if this is like – because Ty is usually red hot on the money, but like on throws like this. But this throw was brutal to watch as I was sitting in the lower bowl watching it skip to Horton because I feel like that was the game-changing play. I felt like when that play was missed, it just felt like, man, I don't think we're going to get another chance like that in the game.
Yeah. And I might be over-diagnosing this. It's very possible. But to me, it looks like he almost doesn't put everything into that throw because I think he thinks he's going to get hit. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting. And maybe that's reading too much into 0.1 seconds of him actually throwing the ball. But to me, it kind of looks like he short arms it a little bit, and that's why it's a little low. He almost winces a little bit as he lets that throw go. And I wonder if it's again the pocket presence of being concerned he's going to get hit as he makes the throw.
And then there's the last play of the game from Ty, 4th and 6. And I don't really love this play call because you're throwing the ball right at the first down marker. It wasn't the best throw in the world. Kind of skips it to Ryan here. And if it was, I don't even know if it was even a better throw, if it would have mattered because Oklahoma's best defender is right there guarding the ball. Do you have anything to say on this play call? I just don't think the play call really benefited Ty here, in my opinion.
No, I don't like the play call either. It's also to the wide side of the field, and out route to the wide side of the field is always scary. I guess it's not as big of a deal here because whether it's incompleted or picked in return for a touchdown, it's really no different. The game's over anyway, but that's a tough throw to ask your quarterback to make. And just naturally, when you run that, I also think Ryan needs to run this route a little bit deeper, and it's kind of hard to because he's got the defender over the top. But just naturally, when you run these out routes, especially the long ones, as you make that cut to the sideline, your body's going to naturally pull you away. So you really need to run this route 2 to 3 yards past the line to make sure that when you run that route and kind of work back to the ball, you're still going to be past the first down marker. I don't think Ryan does a very good job of that, but quite frankly, I don't think it matters because I don't think Ty's making that throw. I don't think it's going to be open. Even if he does make a really good throw, I think the defender is going to make a play on it. So I agree. I don't love the play call. But Ty doesn't make a good throw either. So
we'll end the video with a this or that. We have 8 other college quarterbacks. I'm going to say their names, and Cole and I are going to say which quarterback we would prefer. We've done this every Ty video we've done, and we're going to do it again. First one, Fernando Mendoza.
Yeah, this was one that was probably close the last time we did this video. I think at this point it's pretty definitive for me. I think I'd rather have Mendoza.
I think I would also have Mendoza as well. I think he's just being razor sharp. I think even with the result of the Indiana-Ohio State game, I think Mendoza has made a case for the Heisman Trophy. He's just super accurate, super elite, and people are going to say it's because of the schedule he plays. I think that is part of it, but you also can't deny he's been razor sharp in every game. He's done what he needs to do. I don't know what his off game has been. If you call it the Penn State game of his off game, sure. Guess what he did? He led a game-winning drive.
Mm-hmm. And I'm glad you brought up Mendoza, because I think we've talked a lot about Ty's regression, and I think regression is such a kind of a nasty word, but all it means is you're dropping from the level you were, right? And the level we were treating him at the last time we did this video was top 3 pick, co-Heisman favorite with Mendoza, and at that point it was a toss-up. I think he's regressed below that level at this point. So we're going to have a lot of people probably on this list that I'm still going to prefer Ty over, but I think that's an important note to make, that really the regression is just from elite level to still a very, very good quarterback.
Alrighty, we're going to do 7 more. Marcel Reed. I'm going to go with Ty.
I'll take Ty as well, although Marcel Reed has really impressed me this year, with the one exception of the first half last week. I think he's been a lot better than I gave him credit for, but I'll still take Ty.
Trinidad Chambliss.
Yep, it's Ty for me again. I like Chambliss. I think he's really efficient, but I don't think he has the big play threat that Ty does.
Yeah, I like Chambliss. I think Ty's better, but Chambliss has also impressed me because when he came into the season, I thought, once he came in when Austin Simmons got hurt, he was just, a temporary situation, but he's really elevated Ole Miss to the playoff standard that they have. Gunnar Stockton.
This is still Ty for me as well, but Gunner's been another one that's really impressed me. I don't think we were as high on him going into the Alabama game, and I think he kind of struggled against us, but since then I think he's been very good. But I'll still take Ty. I kind of the same thing. I think Gunnar Stockton may be a little more consistent down to down, but I think he doesn't give you the high upside that Ty does.
Dante Moore.
Yeah, this one's Dante Moore for me. I think Dante Moore does give you the potential ceiling that Ty does. I also think he has more room to improve. So I'll take Dante Moore.
I'm going to go with Ty. I like Dante Moore, but I think Ty's high is higher than Dante's high. But, it's close. I like Dante Moore, though. I think he's a good quarterback. The quarterback Alabama just played, John Mateer. I think earlier in the season I would have said Mateer, but I think Ty has solidified himself. Like, even in the game Saturday, I feel like Ty was better than Mateer. Like, Ty missed throws, but Mateer kind of had what was going for Ty in the beginning of the year, like the bad throws, like you would get bailed out of dropped interceptions. Mateer had a dropped pick 6 by Jefferson, and then I remember to end one of the quarters, Tim Keenan batted a ball down, and if Tim Keenan didn't bat the ball down, not saying you shouldn't bat the ball down, Yonze Pierre was waiting for the ball. It would have been a pick 6. Another 2 pick 6s that one was dropped and one was tipped. So I'm going to go with Ty.
Yeah, this one's Ty pretty easily for me, and I agree. I think we saw that on Saturday. I think he was a better quarterback.
Alrighty, 2 more here real quick. This one's interesting. CJ Carr.
Ooh, this one is interesting. I will take Ty if we're just going for this year. If we're taking him for the rest of their career, I'll obviously take CJ Carr because I think he's going to improve a lot. I think if I'm an NFL team and I could get Ty right now or CJ Carr whenever he comes out, I'd rather take the chance on CJ Carr.
Fair enough. And I will go with Ty for right now, but I do agree with your reasoning. And then this one hurts, but I think we have to do it. Julian Sayin. I think it's Julian Sayin. I think he's very razor sharp.
Yeah, it's Julian Sayin for me too, and you're right. This one really hurts because he could be on this roster. Initial Alabama commit that flipped when Saban retired, so that would hurt. Stings a little bit more, but again, not because Ty's bad, just because Sayin's been really so incredible at Ohio State.
Yeah, the throws are on the money, man. Like Jeremiah Smith's good and all, but like when he's running downfield and the ball's hitting him in stride, he's good, and then you have that also at the same time. It's hard to beat it. It's like when not comparing Sayin to Tua or anything, but when Tua had Devontae Smith to throw the ball to, it just felt like money every single time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that concludes this episode of the Roll Tide Rewind of Ty Simpson film. Join us tomorrow where we talk about Alabama's running back room and has it improved? How's it going to be fixed? We will go over that. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and roll Tide.
Roll Tide.